Welcome to this amazing tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to show you how to design a church flyer as displayed on your screen. This is a healing and a communion service flyer, and we are going to design this, and by the end of this tutorial I'm confident that you'll have the knowledge of how you can go to design a very simple, elegant looking, a beautiful flyer for your church service. So without wasting time, let's dive in and see of what you're supposed to do. You can also support me by subscribing to my YouTube channel so that you can be able to get updates every time I develop or every time I design another flyer. So first of all, we are going to use Adobe Photoshop to do this. So what you need to do, first of all, you're supposed to come up with the canvas size. So the canvas size for this particular flyer is 4x4. So you just go to File, then you go to New. So we are going to set up the sizes for this particular flyer, and then okay, so it is loading up. So it has loaded up already. I've used this particular flyer size before, so I'm just going to pick it from this particular one. But if you have not set it up, basically you are supposed to turn the measurements to inches, and then you are supposed to set the width to before and then set the height to before. Make sure the portrait is portrait, and then make sure that the resolution is 300. Why do we use a resolution of 300 is because of we want to make sure that our image, our flyers stand out in the social media platforms. And then you also need to make sure that you are using the color mode of RGB color. Then you need to make sure that you have set this to be 8 bits. Okay, so this is just to show you the amount of resolution that is likely to be displayed in this particular case. Then you have got the background content and contents to be white, and then you just click on create. Now the canvas will load up, and the canvas is always set at 50%, so I might reduce it a little bit so that it can fit, and then you can also be able to see how it can go about it. So I've just reduced the canvas size to 45 so that it can fit on screen, so that you can be able to see what is going on. So first of all, we are going to do some kind of importation of photos. I've already placed some photos in my resource section, in my description section. So if you want to use the resources that I used in this tutorial, you can go ahead and look in my description section. Now you go to File, and then you go to Place Embed, and then we are going to our folder that I've just created. It's called the healing service. So I'll open this folder. The first picture that we're going to import is this white concrete wall. So I'm going to import this color, this image on my canvas. So let it loads up. It loads up. Once it loads up, we want to make sure that it fits all the canvas. So we are going to make sure that we resize it so that it fits all through our canvas. So I'm going to hold an anchor point and then drag it so that it can be able to fit at this particular canvas. Now we want to reduce also the opacity, or maybe to reduce the brightness of this. So in order for you to do that, you can be able to place some photos on top of it so that it can help us to reduce the brightness of this particular image. So what you're going to do, you click on File, and then you say Place Embed. Then we want to bring in this particular photograph here. So I'm going to bring this on board. So this is also another photo that will help us to reduce some kind of brightness on this white concrete wall. Okay, once the photo has loaded, also I want to make sure that I resize this so that it can fit the entire canvas. So I will hold one of the anchor point, and then I resize my photo. Hold the anchor point and then resize my photo. Okay. What I was so much interested with is to make sure that this particular cross to appear somewhere here. So I'm going to push it a little bit up a little bit, so that I can have it appear at the top here. So after doing that, I don't want this to be like so much shouting. I want it to appear somehow blended to the background that you have just created. So what I'm supposed to do in this case, I just reduce the opacity, and I want to reduce the opacity. So if I go like this, I can be able to increase the opacity, but if I go like this, I drag it down so that I reduce the opacity. I want to use an opacity of around 8, somehow 8 or around there. So I want to use something like okay, there around 10. Let's use 10. Yeah, so position, make sure that the opacity of your image is 10. Then after doing that, we just want to add a layer mask on this particular image. So I will click on this layer mask here, so that I can be able to make sure that I remove these sharp edges around this particular image. So what I'm going to do, I go to my brush tool, I pick my brush tool here, and then I brush it off these edges. So you can see when I brush it off, the edges disappear, and then you can see it blends well with the background. So after doing that, I want to bring in another image. Okay, I also want to bring in another photo. So I'll go here, and then I go to place embed, and then there is this image of the congregation that is singing in prayers. So this is the image that I want to bring it up, but this image I wanted to position it down here, so that we have it at this particular point where people are in prayers. So if I want just to make sure that these people, especially this focus point of this particular image, to be visible enough. So once I've been able to position it at that particular point, I can also reduce the opacity of this image. So I want it also to go up to 10. I want this also to be at 10, so that it can show some kind of uniformity at my background. So you can see at that particular point, it is so much well fit at that particular place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a layering mask, and then I go to my brush tool, and then I want to brush it off this particular edge whereby it is so much busy. So you can see it is blending very well with my cross image at the top there. Yeah. So the last image that I want to bring on board, this is the last image that I want to bring on board. I want to bring an image of a lady. I want to bring an image of a lady who is much in prayers. Okay, so we want to bring in an image whereby it displays. So I just click on file, and then I go to place embed, and then the image loads up. So I'm going to take this image. Yeah. So this image, I want it to be on this other side. This side I want it to be across, but I want this image to be on the other side, this image of this lady. So I want this image to be at that particular point. I can reduce it a little bit. The area that I'm interested in to be is just here at this particular point. So by so doing, I can as well be able to reduce the opacity of this image, just by making sure that I reduce like that to 10 also. I don't want it to be so much shouting in this image, so I'm going to make it 10. Okay, by making it 10, you can see it is okay there. So I'm going to make sure that I also remove the sharp edges. So I'm going to add the layering mask, and then I'm going to use my brush tool to get rid of these sharp edges. Yeah. So that is it about the background. So I've been able to work on the background, added a number of photos that can also be able to reduce the brightness of the background that you already put there. Now the next thing to do is just to bring in down the photos, and also to bring in the text. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring in first the logo of the church. So I'm going to bring in the logo. Okay, you just go to place embed. Yeah, and then you click on this logo. So it will load up on the in the canvas, and then you reduce it. I want the logo to be at the top here. So this is the logo of the church. So I want it to be positioned at the center. So I'm going to press Ctrl plus A. I'm going to press Ctrl plus A to highlight everything in that particular canvas, and then I click on center align. So already it is center aligned, so I think that is okay. The next thing to do is just to add the text. So you click on the text tool and then you just type there, high life. Just type there high life cathedral, like that, Lucia. So that is the name of the church and the location where it is found. So I can go to my fonts, and then I want to use the sans serif font called Popin. So I want to use Popin, so I just go here to bold the size. I want it to be regular. I just want it to be regular, so I'm going to pick like regular, and then I'm going to position it at the top here. I'm going to position it at the top. Okay, I want just to squeeze it at the top so that it fits at the top here. So that is the point I want to use it. So I want to change the color. It seems that it is a little bit fade out, so I just want to pick one of the color on this particular logo. So I want to work with this color. Yes, I want to use that color on my title, the name of the church. If you are interested to use the same color, we have the color code here, so you can just see on our screen the color code that has been displayed. So I want also to position the name of the church at the center of the canvas. So I'm just going to press Ctrl+A, and then I click on center align. So I just remove the selection by using Ctrl+D, so to deselect everything. Now after doing that, the second thing is just to bring in the main title, or maybe you can just say we bring in the main title. So I'm going to bring in the main title, and the main title here is healing. Yeah, so I'm going to press this particular move tool here so that I can be able to position it first. Then before I maybe make some kind of an adjustment, I just want also to duplicate the same. So I'm going to press Ctrl+J. I'm going to press Ctrl+J so I can be able to duplicate this layer. So after doing that, we are going now to go to select the font that I want to use. So I'm going to highlight this, or I'm going to select this healing, and then I'm going to my font type, and then I'm going to choose the font that I'm supposed to use. Now in this particular one, I'm going to use the font called Mountain. Yeah. I'm going to use Mountain. So Mountain, I just go here, type Mountain. Okay, so the font is here. This is a free font, so if you need it, you can just go to 1001 free font, and then you'll be able to get it there. So I want to use extra bold. So extra bold is there. So I want to make it big because this is the main heading of the flyer, so it must stand out. It is supposed to be big enough. So I think there is okay. And then I want to tilt it. Because I don't want it to be so much traditional in a way that everything is just traditional in the line. So I just want to make sure that I position it at an angle, at around that particular angle there. So I think that is the correct angle. I can as well be able to increase a little bit, yeah, somewhere around there. So I think that is the better at that particular point. Yeah, so when it is like this, I think it's okay. Okay, then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the same for this. So I'm going to highlight this second healing that I just duplicated, and then I'm going to say communal service. Yeah, so after doing that, the same font is going to be applied here. So I'm going to highlight it, and then I go to my font type, and then click on that font called Mountain. Yeah, so after doing that, I just also make sure that this part is also tilted, or rather, if you realize that it's going to bring issues to you to maybe put it in a similar angle, you can just delete that, and then you just go back to our healing, since it has already been tilted at the angle that we want it to be. So what you're going to do is just press Ctrl+J. Once you have selected it, press Ctrl+J, and then you just create the second layer that looks the same like the first one. So after doing the same, you're going just to click on that particular font, the second healing font, and then you can just write communal service. So by so doing, you realize that there is a lot of spacing between this particular title of this particular church service. So what you're going to do, we want to reduce the sizing between the letters and also reduce the size between the sentences. So you just highlight maybe communion service, and then you go to A here where it means character. So when you click here, you realize that there is that part where we are supposed to reduce line spacing. So line spacing, I want to reduce it so that these two sentences to be closely together. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag on my left. When I hold the left button on my mouse and then I drag on my left, you realize that the size keep decreasing. So I want to decrease this size up to some point whereby we don't have a lot of space. I don't want it to touch each other, but I just make sure that there is some little space between that, because this is our heading. So up to that particular point, I think it is okay. I've set it to 26.01. So if you just want to write, you double click on this particular box here and you just write there 26.01. So by so doing, you realize that you'll be able to get the same output. Now you realize the text has gone outside the canvas. So what you need to do, you just click on this anchor point and then you reduce it. So I just want to reduce the text so that it fits within this particular canvas. So the next thing that we want to do is to work on the healing service. So the healing type, the healing word. So I can take it a little bit lower so that it doesn't interfere when I'm working with the healing. So I'm going to highlight healing, and then you can see healing has got 0 character spacing. So if I want to reduce the character spacing, I can just hold the left button on my mouse and then I drag it so that I can be able to reduce it a little bit. So up to that particular point, I think it is okay. -20, I think it's okay. The spacing is okay. I can also be able to apply -20 on this particular one. So I'm just going to highlight this and then write there -20. So by so doing, you can see the character spacing has reduced a little bit up to that particular point. Yeah, so I think that is correct positioning. Okay, so let me check if this is actually capital. Yeah, I think that is okay. Yeah, so the next thing to do is now to do some kind of gradient. I want to use gradient overlay, so I will click on the first one. I will click on healing. I will click on this healing text, the first one. Yeah, then I will go to my layers, and then once that healing has been highlighted, the next thing to do is just click on FX. Okay, when you go to FX, you go to gradient overlay. So when you go to gradient overlay, it will be able to display the gradient that I'm using. Already I've been using this gradient. So if you are interested to use the same gradient, these are the color codes. So we have got the color code here. Okay, let me just show you the color code. So the color code is here, displayed here. So this is the color code that I'm using in this particular point, at point 0. And then I also have the second color code that I'm using at 100. So you can see this is the second color code. So if you're interested, you just copy that code and then you press it there, and then you can be able to get the same output. Okay, so what I need to start with, I don't want it to be reverse. I want it to start from that point. So I want it to be at that particular point going to the dark side. So I want to start from the bright side going to the dark side. Now I'll just click OK. And then once I've been able to apply that, I just also need to apply the same gradient, because this is just the title of the church event. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the same gradient. So I'll just click on FX and then I go to gradient overlay, and in this particular time I'm going to put it to be reverse. So I'm just going to use reverse, and then I'm going to click OK. So what is going to happen in this case, there is that kind of a mixed way whereby we have got the flow of this bright color flowing from the top going up to the bottom, and then there is that dark color also flowing from the right hand side going to the left hand side. So it creates that kind of choreography or some kind of a match between that particular text. Okay, so the next thing to do, I want to have got an image on top of this particular title, but that image is just an image of a woman with a flowing blood problem in the Bible. So if you click on file and then you go to place embed, there is that image that I've been able to pull from the internet, this image here. So this image is just an image of that lady with a flowing problem, blood flow problem. So I want to make sure that I position it at the top of this particular heading, but I want the head of that lady to be on top of the C O, the O, on top of that O, and then I want this symbol of Jesus, yeah, just a symbol of Jesus, to be positioned outside somewhere at that particular point. Yeah, so it shows some kind of cohesion between the main focus of this particular event and this particular image that I'm just displaying at that particular point. Yeah, so you can see the main focal point of this particular image is that particular point whereby this lady is touching the garment of Jesus. That is the main focus of this particular point. Yeah, now you can see these images has some sharp edges. So what you need to do, I just click on that particular layering mask, and then I go to my brush tool, and I just want to get rid of this sharp edge here. Yeah. So if this one does not work for you, just go and click on the gradient tool, and then you sweep away this sharp edge like this, so that it can go to blend well with the background. Yeah, so I want to get rid of those sharp edges. I just want to get rid of those sharp edges and make sure that my image is well in tandem with the background. After doing that, I want also to increase the vibrancy of this image. So what I'm going to do, I click on it, and then I go to image, and then I go to adjust, and then I go to vibrancy. I want to increase the vibrancy so that the image looks more better in this particular case. Yeah, so I click OK. After doing that, the image is well fit, and then you can see it doesn't have any impact on the background. It is well blended on the background in that particular case. So the next thing to do is to bring in the theme. So I want to bring in the theme. I want to bring in the theme in this particular case. So I'm just going to draw a small rectangle on my screen, on my canvas, and then after doing that, I need also to change the color. So I'll click on this fill color, and then I go to this color code, and then I want to use this color code from my I want to use it from my logo. So I click on the blue that is from my logo like that, and then I want to position it also in this particular angle. So I want it to be close to my heading and at the same angle as that of my heading. So after doing that, I just want to write their theme. And then I just highlight it, and then I make sure that I use pop-in. I want to use pop-in, and I want that pop-in to be medium. And then I want to position it at the top of this particular one. Yeah, so after doing that, I just want to make sure that it's at the top. Yes, so after doing that, I just double click on it, and then I want to use this white from my background. Yes, so I will just use that white color, and then I also make sure that I tilt it inside that rectangle. So the theme that for this event, I want to make sure that it stand out, so I can also be able to position it well. So I think it's not positioned well. I need to continue working on the alignment of the same. Yeah, so I think that position is okay. Yeah, so I think that is okay. And then after doing that, I just click on that theme, and then I just Ctrl J to duplicate the layer so that I can go to write the text outside. So I want to change the text outside to be this color here. Yes, so I just select that color, and then I want to type there healing by and from, healing by and from spirit. Yeah, so from spirit. Yeah, so this is the theme for that event. So I'm going to reduce this so that it fits within the canvas like that. So I'm not convinced that that particular text is well in that particular order as that of the top part. So I can just click on this image, for example, and then I check the angle in which the image is on. So I can just try to do that. So I'm being told is negative 0.98. yeah, so that is the size. So I think up to that particular point I think it's okay. So the next thing to do, I want to write, so I don't want it to compete so much with the background with the heading, so I'm going to reduce it up to that particular point just to make sure that it fits within. It takes as short time, the short space as possible. So I double click on it, I press enter, and then I just want to write there Proverbs 18:14. So that is our anchor scripture in that particular event. So that is the anchor scripture. So I can highlight this and then I center line that. Yeah, or maybe I can push it like that so that it can be center aligned in this particular case. Yeah, so I think that is the way to go. And then after doing that, we want to bring in the date when the event will take place. So what I'm going to do, I want to bring in the date. So I will click on the text tool and then I just type there. The date is supposed to be 25th August 2024. So that is when the event will take place. So we are going to position it here. So we want it to be at that particular point. Then after doing that, we just want to make sure that this one is bold enough. So I want to use bold. I'm going for bold, and then I want to change it to black. I'm just change it to be black. Alternatively, I can apply the gradient on it so that it can be able to look the same as that of the top, but I think we can just work with the white at that particular point. So I want to position it somewhere here, but allowing the heading and the theme to breathe a little bit. So after doing that, I just want to separate it from the top. So I'm going to pick the line tool, and then I want to draw the line here. So I'm going to draw the line here like that, and then I go at the top here. I just want to make sure that the line that we are going to use, the color, this color that I've just used in the previous theme, okay, the rectangle above. So here I'm going to make sure that I also use the same color. I use the same color here to be that blue that is in our logo. Then after doing that, make sure it is 4, and then change the caps to be rounded and also change the corner to be rounded. After doing so, you just click enter, or you just click on the move tool. After doing that, you'll see the image has appeared there, but we want to make sure that we position at the top and at the bottom. So I'm going to click on that line tool and then line that I've just drawn, and then press Ctrl+J, and then I just move it using my arrow key down up to that particular point. So why are we doing that? It's just to ensure that people can be able to understand that this is another section of our flyer. Then we want to bring in the speaker for that event, so I'm just going to write there the word width. So I'm going to use the word width. Okay, then I'm going to highlight this text, and then I'm going to my font type, and then I'm going to pick a font called Taken. I'm going to use Taken. So I'm going to use Taken as my main font, so it is going to display. This is the font that I'm going to use. So I want to make sure that it is wide enough, so I'm going to increase the size. You can see it is very small at that particular point, but I want it to be somewhere at that particular place there. Taken, I want it to be at that particular point. Yes, somehow holding or maybe touching the line there. Yes, there, like that. So it is not prudent that you have been using this color there and also you are using it at that particular point. So I'm going to employ in the gradient. So I'm going to click on FX, and then I go to the gradient. So I want it to paint it using the same gradient at that one of the top. Yes, so I think that is okay at that particular point. And then I just click on this, and then I just Control J to duplicate the same, and then I just edit this to be Apostle Grammar. Yeah, so that is it. I just want to position it here, but I don't want to use that big font the way it is, so I just want to reduce the font to something medium. I can work with medium at this particular point, so I think medium is okay for me in this particular point, but I don't want it to be black. I'm going to change the color to be that blue. I think that blue is okay. Yeah, so that is it about that particular point. So the next thing that we want to do is just to bring in now the event. Where is it going to take place? So we want to bring in the location where the event is supposed to take place. So I'm going to click there, and then I go to place embed, and then I want to bring in the location button, the location icon. So I want to reduce the location up to that particular point. So I want to be at that particular point. Yeah, then after doing that, we just want to bring in the text where it is going to show us where the event takes place. Yeah, so I already written the text, and therefore I'm just going to place here. I'm just going to use the text tool, and then I just Control Z, Control V, so that I can be able to paste it there. So I've been able to do that, and I think it is well fit at that particular point. So that is where that location of the church is. Now the next thing that we want to do, we are going also to do the live streaming of the event. So you just want to add that icon for live streaming. You just want to add that icon for live streaming. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on I want to bring in some text, so I'm going to click on text tool. I'm going to click on the text tool here, and then I just paste. I can say streaming live on, and then I can use this color, this particular font called Angel. So I think I can use the Angel in this particular case. So this is the text that I'm going to use in this particular point. So I want this text to be blue in color, so I'm going to highlight it, and then I use the blue color. Yeah, so I think that is not well visible. It's not visible enough, so I think I can use Georgia. I think Georgia is so much visible in this particular case, so I can go to Georgia brush. So I can use Georgia brush, so I can position it at that particular point here. Yeah, down after that particular photo that you have been able to put at the top there. So after doing that, I just want to bring in some the icon for live streaming. So I'm going to bring in the icon. So I just go to file, and then I say place embed, and then I'm going to bring in the YouTube icon. So that is the YouTube icon. I just resize it so that it fits down here. So I then want to position it down here. Yeah, so up to that particular point. Yeah, so I think that is okay. I think that position is so much okay. Yeah, so the next thing to do is that we need to bring in the channel name. So the channel name, I just click on text tool, I click here, and then I paste it. Yeah, just want to paste it there. Just want to paste it. Okay, I've just pasted it here, so I think it is okay. I think the color is okay also, and I think everything has been done in an appropriate way. Now the last thing that I wanted just to add here is that text where I say join us this Sunday. So I just want us to make sure that people understand when the event. So you can just say join us this Sunday. So you just want to add that text at the top here. So you just want to click here at the top here, and then I just want to write there join us this Sunday. Join us this Sunday. But the text that we are going to use in this case, we want to use an angel. Just want to use angel, and I think angel requires us to use that small letter. Join us this Sunday. So that's the text. So we want to use black, so I'm going to change the color for that text to be black, and make sure that it is big enough. So I also need to make it slanting so that it also fits well with the title. So I'm going to make it big and also be able to make sure that it is slanting, and it also touches some edges of healing. Yeah, so at that particular point you realize that everything has been set. So you can also add some kind of lens flares if you need it. So you can also add some lens flares. Yeah, so lens flares are meant to like this, and then you can just reduce it. You can just reduce it that particular point. So I can reduce it. I want this particular part to be center of attraction, so I'm going to position it there. I go to my blending modes, and then I just want to click on normal here, and then use screen. So I want it to be screen. I think it perfectly fit at that particular point. I can also duplicate the same, Control J. I can also duplicate the same. I can also position it at that particular point here. I think here also requires that. And then the last one, I can also duplicate this, duplicate that, and also you can also position it at that particular point somehow in this particular case. Yeah, also you can just be able maybe to enlarge it so that also it can also affect H a little bit at that particular point. So I think up to that particular point we have been able to capture all that we needed to capture in this particular flyer. The flyer is ready for circulation, so you can just be able to add maybe the curves. So the curves to reduce some kind of brightness. Okay, so I can also reduce some kind of brightness at that particular point. Yes, I think that is perfect. So up to that particular point, I think we have reduced the brightness a little bit. So you just add the curve at the top of everything, and then you can have all that is displayed there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have been able to design the same. So follow through, and then you can also design the similar logo. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel to support me, and also you can turn the notification button so that when I create the next video you'll be informed. Thank you, and bye bye for now.